based on your history in the military, I would like to say you traveled all over.
I did. I have. Yeah.
I haven't traveled a whole lot.
Yeah.
California is where I'm from. Arizona is where I'm living. I've been to other states. Like, what is like the most fun countries to go to where like you would say just like to explore, like maybe bar scenes or like crazy shit going on? Like, what are like your top destinations that you've been to, since you're very well versed in just, I feel like you've been to a ton of countries.
I have actually. Actually after this last year, I've been 49 countries. I've been to more countries than I have actually our states. So I was really blessed in that. You know, a lot of that was military travel, deployments and TDYs, which are temporary duties for those watching. Those are like 3, 4, 5 days here, 3, 4, 5 days there. So you're bouncing around. As far as like my favorite countries, there's a few I'd like to go back to that I didn't really get to enjoy while I was in the military. The first one that comes to mind is Amsterdam. That was just an amazing place. When I was active duty, we had a 5-day R&R thing that we earned while we were deployed. I was in Kosovo for about 7 months roughly. And so I had taken a rotator flight from Kosovo into Ramstein Air Base in Germany. And a couple of guys I was with, we rented a car and we drove up, the Autobahn. We went through Belgium into the Netherlands and hit Amsterdam. And anytime you do these kind of trips, it's known, and anyone that's been in the military knows this, you get popped for piss tests, right? Anytime you're going out of
popped for piss?
Popped for piss tests.
So I give you pot, you give me piss?
No, popped. Oh. So like you get flagged, right? So anytime you're traveling to these countries that are known for being crazy, or anytime you're not, around a military installation, you come back. And it's very well known. They say it's random, but it's definitely not.
No.
It's definitely rifled in on people. No. And so we obviously had to behave. And we were in Amsterdam for 5 days. And there's people doing cocaine off of window seals in the back alleys. There's these hash houses. And back then, this is 2007 awesome. When I was there.
Yeah.
It wasn't as Amsterdam's always been a favorable place for people that smoke pot, do drugs, and like to go out there and party, right? And so I didn't get a chance to experience a lot of that stuff while I was there, and so I'd like to go back and obviously have some fun. But Amsterdam is definitely an awesome place to party. Berlin in Germany was really cool, and if I had to go outside of Europe,
Thailand.
Dude, so Thailand, I've been there twice for training missions, and I've told you some stories about being in Thailand.
My buddy Ty is trying to get me to go on a trip over there, and apparently it's a really fun spot. I know a lot of people want to say, "Oh, what about the lady boys?" But dude, it's got so much more than lady boys.
It really does. It really does. But the lady boys thing is hilarious.
That's your favorite part?
No, God, no. It's just funny.
Isn't that what you're telling me offset? Like that's your favorite part?
Oh God, you're. But it is funny because anyone that's watching this or whatever, and if they have. There's just a fun fact about Thailand, and
I bet
is that they have the highest success rate in male to female surgeries removing the Adam's apple, which is a very dangerous thing to do. And so it's crazy that Thailand, which is they're not technically a first world country, but a lot of our medical doctors and a lot of doctors from around the world go there. But they have the best success rate in removing the Adam's apple, which is just kind of crazy. No. So when you have these lady boys, you're like, it's really hard to tell which one's a woman, which one's not.
Because
it's crazy. It's really
because their vocal cords, like, do a lot of them talk like women, or could you tell like pretty instantly, like, hey, you're talking like
if they've had the surgery and it was successful, a lot of them sound like normal everyday women. If they still have the Adam's apple,
then obviously.
Like, hey, what are you doing, man? And it's not obviously as deep as that because they tried to turn their pitch up a little bit, and get that kind of womanly demeanor / vocal.
Because at the end of the day, they're still gay, so they still have that high pitched voice in a way, right? But obviously, if they don't remove the Adam's apple, you can still tell because it's like, oh, that's a deeper voice than normal.
Yeah. So it's funny. I'll tell a story real fast. So I've been to Thailand twice, and it was for joint training service missions that we do. They're called Cobra Gold, and it's our chance to be the Air Force to help them learn a lot of things that we do as far as some of the special operations stuff that we did and medical stuff we do. Obviously, flight training, jumping out of planes, rappelling, swimming, stuff like that. And so both times I was there, we have these intel briefings where you go and you come in, and the first day you just basically get all the rules, what you can and can't do. And there's this PowerPoint slide the second time I was there, we had this PowerPoint slide, and there was the game was there was two women on each slide.
Oh,
and
I see where it's going.
yeah, there was two women on each slide, and there's probably 60, 70 of us, active duty Air Force guys that are getting this intel welcome briefing, and the commander who was doing the presentation was like, okay, as we go through each slide, keep in mind, pick which one you think is the woman, which one you think is the guy, right? And so we're all sitting there, and
that's a trick. Both of them were guys.
Well, it's funny because like we're sitting there, we think we know everything, right? We're like that's definitely a woman, that's definitely a dude, that's definitely a dude. And so we're like going through this presentation.
All those were dudes.
And we get to the end, and you got it right. And so we're like, definitely, we thought we knew everything, right? And we're like, there's a couple of you are like, damn, you can't tell because they're all dressed up. There were no makeup and dresses, and they look very elegant actually. And you get to the end of it, and you're like, how many think they did really well? We all raise our hands, and we get to the end of it, and he's like, yeah, well, none of you did well because there's 25 slides. All 50 people that you just saw were all guys. And it's like, wow, what? You're like, damn, that's crazy. But it is, but they're the nicest people. You can go out the wire and you're walking down the street, and it's extremely cheap there. So it's like your dollar goes a long way.
Yeah,
but
that's what I've been told.
It goes a long way. It's a great place to go shopping. But it's like you're just walking down the streets, and it's like they just walk up to you, or they're on the corner, and there's two or three of them like, "Hey, baby, what you doing?" It's like it's wild, it's wild, it's crazy.
Wild.
But it's just like you look at them, you're like, "Damn, that girl's hot," and it's a dude, and you're like, it's mind blowing, man. It's
that dude's hot.
It's mind blowing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
definitely experience. But no, so I mean, Thailand's a fun place. There's a few places in Mexico I love going. Obviously, Cancun's fun, and I actually really enjoy Mexico City. But one of my favorite places that I've been, and it's always been on a cruise, I've been 3 times, I want to go back and spend time there, is Belize.
Why?
As a country, just because it's such a cool spot, and there's so much to do there, that I want to go back and spend time there. And I have friends that have went and lived there for months, and even people that go and do like the doctors with borders and stuff like that, all those things. And so it's just it's always been said it's a really great spot, and I've had a lot of fun when I'm there. So I want to go back and actually do more time there. And I obviously I was in Okinawa for 6 years, so I really love the island. I'd love to go back and visit there. And yeah, I think that's probably my top ones, to be honest with you.